Okay, so hello everyone. Gainer here from Property Made Simple. I think now we are live. I think it has been a while since I actually do my live. If let's say you guys have been following me for quite a long while, I've been doing my live, Facebook live ever since, I think 3 years, 4 years back. During the time, I'm still using paper, and putting just at the back of the wall, drawing and sharing a lot of different topics, tips, and strategies with you guys. So today is actually a live. And I think today is really very interesting because I'm actually trying to, I actually met this person. Her name is Jermaine. And she actually, she's not my client, to be honest. Else when you guys are watching this live, you think that probably I've staged this whole entire life. But if those who have really known me for quite some time, I always want to do things very naturally, stuff like that, to give you my honest and frank opinion about everything. So today we actually have this opportunity to invite Jermaine, right? So Jermaine actually contacted me through my social media, and to be honest, I've not personally met her in person physically yet. We just had some text, she asked me some questions. Then after that, I just answer her through text. And one day, just an idea pop out, and she says that, hey, why not? Let's do a live. And that's why today in this live, we are actually going through, she's actually a HDB owner. She actually would want to upgrade, and there are some questions that she actually want to ask. And I think that's why today we are here to actually do a live, so that these kind of questions can be of a concern to you. And these are questions, if let's say you guys have seen the topic, these are actually questions from a HDB owner who wants to upgrade, and what are the concerns, stuff like that you probably also might have as well. And that's why she's here today to share with us her questions, her concerns. And from then on, probably you might learn something, you can pick up something, stuff like that. And then from then on, you guys, if during this live, if you guys have any questions, you can also ask. I'm not too sure whether if you guys can see any comments. If you guys can, you can also, type in your comments, stuff like that. If I can see, probably I can answer you through the live as well. Okay, maybe I just type something. I see you guys. If any one of you guys are here live with me, you can type something, and at least I know that my live chat is working. Okay, and maybe I just, hi guys, welcome to this live. Maybe you guys can just say hi. Can you guys see any of my chat? Okay, in another few moments. Oh, someone put a like. Is it? Okay, so at least you guys are there. Okay, so I think without further ado, I really, really also don't want to waste the time from you guys, because I know that the time is precious. Now I have nine of you guys watching. Okay, so without further ado, I probably will invite Jermaine back. Jermaine into this live together with us, and she will probably just just introduce herself. Okay, so let's invite her.
Hi,
Okay.
everybody. Hi, Gainer. Nice to see you.
Hello, Jermaine.
It's my pleasure to contact Gainer. He has been very professional and giving me very good advice. I really appreciate that. So I'm Jermaine from mytwobaobeis new IG account. So I like to create content. Yeah, so I do have a few questions. So shall we get started?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, I think maybe I just want to just share with you guys who is Jermaine. So Jermaine, like just now, those who just joined us live, Jermaine is someone that is also a HDB owner. She's still staying with at a HDB, and she has not done anything yet.
Yes.
And we have not physically met in person. I did not. Normally, when someone contact me, I will probably just arrange a time, go down, meet her, meet them, and then, and have some chit chat, stuff like that. And I have not really met her yet. This is the first time we are seeing each other through camera, and we are not
Yeah.
staging this, just to let you guys know,
Yeah.
right? And maybe Jermaine, can you just introduce yourself,
Mm.
like where you're staying, stuff like that?
Okay, I'm staying in the north area, Choa Chu Kang area. So
Okay,
I've been living here like more than 5 years. Okay, I think
okay,
6 years. And
6 years.
so I quite like the place here. It's a 4-room BTO. Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
it's
you
convenient.
stay in a BTO flat, and that's why today we are here to probably chat about this, because I think she also probably has some thoughts whether she wants to upgrade, stuff like that. Correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, okay, great.
Mm.
So I think probably today, Jermaine, you have any questions for me? I think at the end of the day, for you guys, now we have 10 viewers. Hopefully, we can increase this. I think this is a live. And if let's say
Hello.
you guys have any questions, and if you guys have any questions, just feel free to put inside the chat group. If can, we can actually we can answer you. Okay. Okay. So Jermaine, you have any questions for me today?
Yes, I have 5 questions for you. I think
Wow,
most
very
of the
specific.
homeowners will want to ask before upgrading.
Yeah.
So,
Please don't shoot me. Yeah.
of course, you won't be sure.
Because
You're so professional.
okay, okay. Okay, yes. What
Yeah.
are the
Okay.
questions that
So,
you
yeah. So right now, because I have the CPF amount in because I'm working, right? So I do have an accumulation of CPF amount in my
okay?
CPF account. So how do
Mm.
I utilize the CPF amount? Should I use that amount for property, or should I just leave it there? And a lot of homeowners after 5 years they will think, should I sell or not? If I wait like longer, more than 5 years or 10 years later, it will not
Yes.
be as profitable. So what is your advice on that?
Okay. So there is, I think this question is quite long. Huh?
Sorry.
No, 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 it's okay.
First
So I'm trying to
question.
digest. So maybe I just want to explain the very first thing that you asked me is about CPF, the usage of CPF. I think so. Basically, I also want to highlight some misconception about a lot of homeowners. So first of all, a lot of people probably whenever they have CPF funds inside their ordinary account, and like you, probably you are staying in a
Mm,
HDB flat. I've seen quite a lot of homeowners actually will use a lot of their CPF funds to pay off their HDB loan,
mm-hmm.
right? So if
Yeah.
let's say they have 50,000, they have 60,000, they have 70,000, they'll straight away try their best to quickly pay off the loan as soon as possible. Now, for this, I think I would rather, like what you mentioned just now, I would rather you leave the CPF funds in your ordinary account.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the best way. Why? Because you probably will earn interest in your ordinary account, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think you probably will earn around 2.5%. I think this is the best way, because if let's
Mm,
say you use your CPF funds to pay off your loan, so a lot of
mm,
people thought that after they use their CPF funds to pay off the loan, they actually reduce the interest from the bank, or they reduce the interest from the HDB loan that they are owning right now, they are having right now.
mm,
So I think this is something that, because you see, once you take the CPF funds from your ordinary account to pay off the loan, although you have reduced the interest from whatever loan institution that you're holding, but
mm.
then that amount, you still have to pay back the 2.5% interest back to your ordinary account.
Yeah.
So I think,
Agree.
so this is the first thing I would probably will not advise. Now, the second thing is what I want to say is flexibility. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
give you an example. Why flexibility? Okay, so if today you own a HDB flat and you want to buy another HDB flat, okay?
Mm,
Now, when you want to upgrade to another HDB flat, or probably you want to upgrade to a private property or EC, okay, so a
mm-hmm.
lot of people don't have the first 20% funds or 25% funds. Why? Because they have fully utilized all their CPF funds to pay down the loan.
Mm.
So, meaning to say
Yeah.
their ordinary account left with zero. If they still want to proceed to buy their whatever property, they have to fork out 20% or 25% cash if they don't have the CPF. So that's why
Yeah.
a lot of homeowners, they have no choice, but they have to sell off their current property, release the funds out of the sale, then they have the funds to pay for whatever property that they want if they want to upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the second point I want to share is the flexibility. You lose out the flexibility.
Mm.
Okay, so this
Agree.
is something very important. Now, the third thing
Okay.
is also very, very important. Why leaving CPF money inside your ordinary account and not using it to quickly pay off your property is very important. Is
Mm.
for rainy days. Now, I give you an example.
Mm.
If today you use all your CPF funds to pay off your loan, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say touch wood, last 2 years or last year we had COVID, and let's say if your job is affected,
Mm.
and you don't have any job, right? What is going to
Mm.
happen? You need to still fulfill your monthly bank installments to your current property,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
But the thing is that you have used all your CPF money to reduce your loan amount.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're stuck with zero. And if your job is affected, you can't use whatever funds to pay off to sustain your money installment. So that is why I say that it's really safe to at least have some reserve funds inside your ordinary account, not to use everything to pay off the loan first, but to have it there, you earn interest,
Mm. Yes.
right? Then I
Agree.
think
That's a
that
good point.
is, yeah. So three important things, if I can
Mm.
summarize,
Mm.
flexibility. The first thing is
Mm.
really flexibility, that you can still
Mm.
use your funds, ordinary account to pay off, to buy whatever property that you want to upgrade, then reducing the cash upfront that you have. But if you use it to pay off your loan, you have zero CPF. Whatever you have
Mm-hmm.
to pay first is all full cash. First is
Mm.
flexibility. Now, the
Yeah.
second is really a safety net in case if one day you are, touch wood, you're affected by
Yeah.
job, at least you still
Mm.
have the CPF money inside your ordinary account to fulfill your monthly installments, right? And the
Yeah.
third thing is interest. You still earn interest rather than
Mm.
you pay off and then you have to fulfill your own interest by yourself. So these are the three important key points I think, that you should still leave the CPF funds inside your ordinary account. This is one thing I
Yeah.
think is important.
Yeah. That makes
Okay.
very sense.
Yeah, I mean,
Thanks for telling me.
yes, I
Yeah.
think this is really very important.
Elaborating. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so you have another
Okay.
question?
Yes. My second question is, what are the benefits of staying here, my current 4-room flat,
Yes, I
okay,
need to know.
or selling? What are the benefits for each? Like by staying here or selling?
Okay.
Benefit for each, yeah.
So the first thing is not an easy question to answer. I think each has its pros and cons. I
Mm,
think at the end of the day, if you ask me honestly, if you want to stay in your current flat, a lot of people always thought that, for agents, for us, if you ask, if you probably want to step up and seek an opinion from an agent,
mm,
I think a lot of homeowners probably they will step backwards because they felt that a lot of agents will probably just want you to sell your place,
mm-hmm,
or probably to do something so that they can earn
mm,
that kind of commission, right?
mm-hmm,
So I think
mm-hmm,
one thing is very important is for homeowners to really just feel free to ask any of the agents, and if the agents are able to give you a very objective kind of view, then I think that's good, right? So coming back to
mm-hmm,
your question, whether what are the benefits of you selling or staying, I think it really depends on you. It
mm,
depends on what you really want, what is your objectives, right? Of course, if you feel that staying in your current place will fulfill your current needs, like for example, your kids are the schools, staying near to your parents, easy, much easier,
mm,
convenience. Then, by all means, if you really feel that staying here is better, then of course, just by all means, just stay here, right? But then
mm,
again, if you personally feel that you probably wants to upgrade to a bigger place, you wants to upgrade to a private property, you felt that there are some opportunities for you to progress, then of course, then the thoughts of selling and upgrading would come as something that you will look at the benefits, right? So it really
mm,
depends on your thoughts. So there's no right or wrong answer to all
yeah.
this. At the end of the day, I think it really depends on individual, right?
Mm,
I give you an example, my story.
okay.
So I've been staying in my HDB for the past. When I first got my
Mm,
BTO flat, I was 26.
okay.
Yeah, am I right?
That's young.
26. Yeah.
That's very young.
You are right. Very young.
Okay.
So, so
Yeah.
after that, I was working as a full time, right? So I worked
Mm.
for 10 years. So I was 30 plus. Then after that, I
Okay.
became a real estate agent. So I became an agent 30 plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So during that time,
Mm.
I was staying in my HDB all the way. I only sold my HDB for the past 3 years. So can you imagine I stayed since 26 all the way to 37, 38?
Wow. More than
Yes.
10 years. Yeah.
Yes, but the thing is that I really have to, and but I was a real estate agent for probably 7, 8 years during that. I mean, now I've
Mm-hmm.
been an agent for 10 years. But the thing is that I really want to bring this out is because even for me as an agent and moving forward to speak to so many homeowners looking at private properties,
Mm.
stuff like that, and putting myself into that current situation whereby I
Mm.
mix with a lot of agents, I look at a lot of private properties, I look at a lot of new
Mm.
launches. But
Mm.
even so, it took me so long for me to make that switch.
Mm.
What I want to
Why?
say is that's why I want to say that everyone is very different because the
Okay,
fear, the fear of
the risk
whether can
level.
I, yes, the
Mm.
risk, but
Okay.
I was being forced, and to be honest, probably I'm very comfortable in my HDB.
Mm.
I didn't see the need,
Yeah.
and I was
Okay.
working as a real estate agent. But
Uh.
then even I was exposed. So a lot of things people say that as long as you're exposed, it's just like when you're exposed to more positive people, naturally you become very positive, right? That kind of thing.
Mm.
So I was
Yeah.
exposed into that environment. But then
Yeah.
again, I didn't see the need yet. I was still
Yep.
staying in my HDB for very
Mm.
long
Mm.
until I was being forced by circumstances.
Mm.
And
Like more
then
kids.
okay, I mean, to be
Or
honest, to be honest,
uh.
me and my wife are quite very particular with feng shui, feng shui.
Oh, okay, I know.
So I don't know
Yeah.
whether to me, I think it's a good thing. Good, it was a blessing in disguise, right?
Okay.
So I was staying in
Mm.
my HDB. I always have this discussion with my wife. Should we sell and move on? Should we sell? And my wife was also very comfortable. We really didn't really put ourselves in a very difficult situation whereby we must do that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
until when our neighbors sold their flat and
Mm.
and our neighbor actually had renovation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our feng shui master actually told us that during that particular year, if there
Mm.
are some very heavy kind of renovation, then we will be very greatly affected in terms of health. So I was
You mean
so you
even
get
your neighbor?
my direct neighbor.
Direct neighbor doing
So
renovation will affect you?
the
Wow, that's
qi, the
interesting.
energy, they will
Yeah,
say the
yeah,
qi, the
yeah.
energy. So they have, and it's only some particular years whereby if it is
Okay.
not so good year, then it will
Mm.
affect greatly. So we actually was forced.
Yeah.
I took 7 days to shift house immediately. So can you
Mm.
imagine? It was such a
7
rush.
days.
7
Wow.
days because me and my wife, while it was having a renovation, we would keep asking, hey, are you going to hack the walls? Are you going to hack? Because they can do minor renovation, is fine.
Mm,
But so
mm,
long
mm.
as they hack the wall, they do some drill something, to the wall, then it will create that kind of thing, that kind
Okay.
of bad chi, and then it will affect
Uh,
our family, our health. So we were
okay.
scared.
Okay.
I seldom say
Because
this
you
story,
believe
lah,
in
but
feng shui. Yeah, I do believe in feng shui.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was
But
my,
not to the
it was.
extent
So
that
can you
you have to
imagine?
move house. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
imagine.
So me and my wife we were just a little bit more superstitious like during that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so that's why we shifted house within
Mm.
7 days. It was really
Wow.
so can you imagine? I drive my car, pick up everything, shift up and down, and then 7 days later we were in my
So,
parents' place.
okay. So the house was vacant for a while because you need time to sell, right?
Yes, so
Yeah.
just nice. Then my wife. Then after we shifted, then we were like, we have been staying in our parents' place. Then, so my wife
Mm.
was thinking, what's next? So during that time, we have no choice, but we will quickly, really every day. I tell you, every day my wife will be looking at the property guru, searching for all the properties, and
Uh,
then we were very hurry in when are we going to buy,
mm.
stuff like that. So I think a lot of people, they didn't make the changes because they are really very comfortable, especially when with kids
True.
around, every day you are very focused with your work, your family life, your kids, their upbringing,
Yes.
stuff like that. Then, of course, at the end of the day, you probably won't focus in switching your HDB to a private, stuff like that.
Mm.
So it's normal. But that's why I want to share with you guys about my situation. I was sort of lucky, blessing in disguise, that
Mm.
my neighbor was doing some heavy renovation, and then we shifted immediately. And 1 year later, I actually got a private resale,
Mm.
right? And because I see feng shui, so a lot of my
Mm.
clients are asking me, hey, Gina, why you didn't? You always tell us to buy new. Why you didn't buy new? It's not I don't want to buy new. It's just that my feng shui, somehow I need to stand there, use the compass and measure the main door.
Okay.
Really to the extent. So I need to
Wow.
measure the main door, because if I buy a new launch, I can only know that particularly that is the direction. But if
Mm.
you know how risky it is when the place is TOP, then I go there to main door, I waited for 3 years and then it doesn't suit me. I think I'll cry.
Yeah. Surely.
So that's why I bought, so that's why I bought the resale. But then, I used my wife's name to buy another,
Uh-huh.
another property lah, as an investment.
Wow. Okay. Kill two
Yeah.
birds
So
in one stone after the renovation thing.
yeah, that's why
It's a
if you ask me, I
blessing.
think
Yeah.
everyone moves differently lah. I mean, everyone
Mm.
has different kind of reasons why they are moving. That's why if you
Yes.
ask me, back to the question, what are the benefits of selling and staying? I think it really depends on
Mm.
every
Individual.
individual.
Yeah.
There's no hard and fast rules. But
Mm.
I can only say that I shared this in my Facebook post.
Mm.
In life, we will always be spending a lot of money. There are
Mm.
4 different key expenses. One is your daily necessities.
Mm-hmm.
Second is your this is what I call your enjoyment in life. I don't know.
Mm.
I forget what is that already. Like you watch
Leisure.
Netflix, stuff like this. Your leisure, like
Uh,
travel. These are all your major expenses. The third one is
mm-hmm.
also for kids. You spend a
Mm.
lot in terms of their the enrichment classes, stuff like
Yeah.
that. So for kids, the last one is property, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at the 4 different types of expenses, there's only one expenses that you really pay, but you get the returns back. Your daily
Mm.
necessities, whenever you spend money, you don't get anything back, right? Because you spend
Mm.
out, you don't get in return. Of course, you get things like you enjoy. It's okay. Like you enjoy life. You go for a
Mm.
good meal with your family, restaurant. This is enjoyment, right? You spend the money,
Mm.
you get a kind of enjoyment back. The second is you spend for your travel, your leisure, your hobbies, stuff like that. These
Yeah.
are expenses that you also spend, right? You enjoy.
Mm.
Third is kids, right? Kids,
Yeah.
you just want to give the best, right? But I don't think you want to see it as a return. I think
Of
so.
course not. Don't give
Yeah,
them pressure.
yeah. You wait. You say, hey, you must take care of
Yeah.
me.
No, no,
I spend
no.
so much. When you grow old, I grow old. You better take care of me. So, so I
Yeah, no,
don't think
don't
you
give
want to
them
see
this
this.
stress. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So out of the 4 expenses, 3 are things that you are willing to part with. It is
Yes.
only property, which is the last expenses, that you see
Mm.
return, because at the end of the day, when you sell, you will get back whatever that you need. Of course, it depends on the property market. So I just want
Mm.
to highlight this. This is something I personally feel is very important. It's something that you will
Okay.
get back at the end when you put your money into a property. Because at the end of the day, when you fully pay everything, you own that property. But of course, at the end
Mm.
of the day, if you are staying in a 99 years leasehold property, at the end of the day, you probably, you just have to watch out the lease and the property market before you sell.
Okay.
Okay? Well, I covered
Yeah.
quite a lot.
Great insights.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting. So,
Yes.
okay, talking about selling, right?
Yes.
Yeah, property is an asset. So
Yes.
if my plan change, okay. So if I want
Plan
to buy
change. I
this,
don't want to sell lah.
yeah, don't want to sell. So
Okay.
what are your advice?
As in
Then
what?
you
If you
earn
don't
the
want to
house,
sell,
you earn the space, you earn the
as in what?
rent.
You stay in the house, you don't want to sell, or
Yeah, because you were saying that property is an asset. It's only an asset
yes.
if you sell, right? So if I don't intend to sell,
Okay.
yeah, and
Oh, very
forever
simple.
living there.
Hmm. Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe I want to share, especially when you guys are watching. I just want to
Mm.
share with you you can
Yeah.
don't sell. Okay, at the end
Mm.
of the day, you don't want to sell is fine. So whatever that you don't sell, you just give back to your kids. So your kids will sell for you because they won't stay there. They will just sell off, get whatever
Yeah,
proceeds,
yeah.
and then they will get back whatever that they
Okay.
need. Uh,
Mm.
should you do that? You should. It really depends, right?
Okay.
I just want to say the olden days whereby our parents, our grandparents, they will always think that whatever they do, they will just leave everything back to the kids, right? It's true,
Mm.
right? Um, but I think at the end of the day, it's either you leave your property back or you leave cash back.
Mm.
See, if you sell your property, you downgrade, you still have cash, right? That cash at the end will also be returned back to your kids if one day, I mean, you won't bring everything back to somewhere that when you leave this world, right? So it's either you leave back a property or you leave back cash, right? Of
Mm.
course, at the end of the day, you spend your cash because you retire, right? So, so it depends on how you measure, you weigh things, lah.
Yeah.
I can only say one thing.
Mm.
How are we able to earn money from property is opportunity, the time where you sell. You need to
Mm-hmm.
time it, right?
Mm.
And then you will be able to make the best use out of it.
Yeah.
Don't just leave it there like that. But then again, if you are just someone who want to stay put in your current property, then by all means, please do
Mm.
so, right? Stuff like
Yes.
that.
There's no like
Okay.
right or wrong. It's just that
There's really
you
no
may
right or wrong answer to
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, it's your comfort, is what you want. So
Mm.
for those that are watching, if you guys can just help us to give some likes, some shares, we will really appreciate if so far you find this is
Thank
a
you.
very enjoyable session. Okay. Okay, so Jermaine, any questions also?
Yeah. Two, three more questions.
Okay. Okay, okay.
Okay, so being a BTO owner, right? So should I upgrade to a
Okay.
condo, private condo, or EC? So what are the difference? And yeah,
Okay. Okay, so your private condo, as in the new one or a resale one or anything?
new, new
New.
one. Yes.
Okay. Uh, okay, so I also have to say one thing. Now these days, if you really look at the private properties, they are really on the upward trend, right? So I
Mm,
think
mm,
some of the audience, some of my clients, they also have concerns
mm-hmm.
whether property prices are really at the peak, stuff like that. So I can only say is that if you are buying something for your own stay, right, then of course you just, if you want to buy something, then as of now we really cannot look at something that you can sell just 3 years down the road. I make a profit, then I just sell and move on, right? I
Mm,
think if
mm,
you're buying something for your own stay, just market will still go up, right? It's just at the end of the day is when, right? So you
mm,
just have to stay put, stay at your place. So buy a place that you want to really have your families be there.
mm,
Then of
mm.
course at the end of the day, when it appreciates 5-10 years down the road, or even 10-15 years, then you sell, then I think the return will be there. Okay, so the
Okay.
question is whether should you buy a private new or EC. There are two difference.
Okay.
Of course, if you buy a new, if let's say for on this perspective, I would say that a new EC or a new private lah. Okay,
Mm,
it's just that the difference is a private property. The price would definitely be higher. Depends on the location. The
mm.
private property will most likely be higher than the EC.
Okay.
Okay, and the waiting time is still the same. It's just that the private don't have this 5 years MOP, but they have
Mm.
this 3 years seller stamp duty tax. Okay, so the seller stamp duty tax, you don't have to wait till the day you collect your keys. It starts when
Mm.
you exercise or you complete the private resale transaction. No, sorry, private transaction, not the resale. Right, the resale is also the same 3 years seller stamp
Okay.
duty tax, but the new one also they will have this 3 years of stamp duty tax lah. So after you you finish these 3 years, you want to sell, you can sell. Now EC you can't do that. You will
Mm.
still have to wait for your 5 years MOP. It's just like the new
Mm.
BTO flat. And on top of that, for the new EC, you still have to pay the what is that? The resale levy as well. So some actually felt not worth
Mm.
it. Some felt
Yeah.
it's okay. I think
Mm.
we just have to do a lot of price comparison at the end of the day to see whether is it worth it to buy an EC or a new private lah. But the
Okay.
differences, I can be honest, depends on the location. price point will definitely be some form of difference. EC will definitely be cheaper. New private will definitely be more expensive. EC, you have to pay the levy, resale levy, and you also have to wait for the 5 years MOP,
Okay.
right? So I think these are some of
Sure.
the differences that I
That's the
think you guys
differences.
probably, yep. Okay?
Okay. Great. Okay. Let me see. Okay, now talking about investment. Should
Okay,
I,
okay,
because this is also one of my considerations, should I retain this
okay,
uh, BTO and then buy a second property, pay for the
okay.
12% ABSD? Is it worth? Because some might say that rentals will come back fast and cover it. What if
Mm,
there's
mm,
no
mm,
one renting it? Is it worth to pay
mm.
that 12% for a second property?
Okay, so if you ask me the question whether is it worth to pay the 12% for the ABSD, okay, so if you guys are listening this, probably I would just want you guys to think from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, different perspective. If you are able to treat this 12% as a cost
Mm-hmm.
that you can cover in terms of capital growth, so meaning to say, if today I want to buy a 1 million, okay,
Mm,
I
mm.
want to sell them, but I need to pay 12%, which is $120,000 extra, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So on top of that, my cost of this entire property is 1.12 million. Now
Mm,
you need to have the thought from the perspective that in the future I want to sell, I need to sell. This property is able to give me the returns, as in I need to sell around 1.25, 1.3 to cover the 12% of ABSD. You need to
okay.
come from that perspective.
I need to come from
Then,
that perspective.
yes,
Okay.
then you
Okay.
will think the next thing. How would I
Mm,
know that I buy a property that I will have a guarantee, or probably I won't say guarantee, I will most likely able to cover this $120,000 of cost, correct?
mm-hmm, mm,
Then that is where you need to really analyze the property that you're buying. So
mm,
if you are able to analyze and understand the fact that the price point that you're buying is worth moving,
mm-hmm,
then it's fine. Then most likely you are able to cover this. So actually, I cover quite a lot of videos in my channel as well. There's this thing
mm.
called price gap. So there's a
Yeah.
price gap strategy, right? You need to
Mm,
know what's the price gap. So if today I'm buying a property, right, a
mm-hmm,
new property example or a resale property, what are the surrounding projects, the price point that they are selling? If I can see some opportunity out there,
mm-hmm.
then it's worth for you to pay this 120,000. If you really don't want to sell your current HDB and don't mind paying this $120,000 of ABSD, because you need to
Mm,
cover.
yeah.
You need to cover. Don't buy and think that I sell 3 years later. It's not possible for you to cover these 3 years of the
Yeah.
120,000. So don't think in that direction. Think a little bit longer. And please don't buy. If you want to spend this ABSD, please don't buy a private resale property that is already left 60 years, that kind of thing. Because unless you want to go for
Mm,
en bloc lah, and you really have to
yeah.
bet on the en bloc. If the en bloc don't really go through, then that's it already. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
Buy something that's new because you know that you hold for another 10 years, you rent out, hold for 10 years, and then you have to wait for the next upcycle. Then I think probably it might make sense.
Yeah. Agree. Agree.
Right? But
Okay.
if you want to ask me the very basic question, whether is it worth to pay that 12%,
Mm,
uh I won't lah.
understood.
Hey, it's a lot of
Okay.
money leh.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but because some
It's like
friends, right?
120,000 leh.
They will say things like, why don't we get like a second property? Anyways,
Yeah.
if you can rent it out, you can get back like very fast. Like in
Okay.
1-2 years, if you rent
Okay,
it out.
so
Yeah.
yeah, you are right. So I just want to highlight one very important thing. A lot of people, they don't want to sell and they want
Mm,
to buy paying the ABSD, which is fine. But then you know what? They end up with the funds that they are only able to buy a one bedroom.
okay.
So meaning to
Oh
say you
yeah,
buy a
the
one
studio
bedroom.
apartment, is it?
Yeah,
Is that
because
called a studio?
Can be a studio, can be a one bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
at the end of the day, you end up paying 12% for a property that is probably just a one bedroom.
Mm.
It's not easy for, I mean, I don't know whether this is live, should I say that? I don't know, but one bedroom to get the huge capital growth may not be very fast. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Mm.
Yeah, normally you see those properties that make a huge growth is those much bigger units. Yeah,
Okay.
and
Understood.
one
So
bedroom, the
one
supply
bedroom
is
is
a lot.
okay. Okay. So for
Unless you,
investment, one bedroom, even though you don't mind paying, is not ideal as well, right? Because it's too small. Nobody will want to
it,
rent.
no. Okay, so renter, there will definitely people who wants to rent. One bedroom,
Ah,
there are people who wants to rent. It's just
okay.
that if you're asking me from the capital growth kind of opinion,
Mm.
then you really have to buy something that's really very cheap that you see, wow, probably maybe in the market now, a lot of people are selling 600 over 1,000. Then somehow someone just want to sell you at 500 plus and it's worth
Mm.
for you to take that bet. Then by all means you buy. But then if let's say you don't see the huge benefits of paying this 12% more, and then
Mm-hmm.
you are getting something at the price that you can you imagine you buy 600 over 1,000, you pay 120,000, that is 700 over 1,000. You need to sell 800 over 1,000 for a one bedroom.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which
So it's
it's
not
not easy
advice.
to
It's not.
achieve. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of
Yeah.
the day, it really
Agree.
depends on you guys lah. There's no right or wrong.
Mm,
You
mm,
probably just have to hold on your property for much longer lah. If you're prepared to do that, then by all
mm.
means, right?
Okay.
Yeah, this is what. Yeah, I also seen some of you guys are watching our live and you actually ask some of the questions. Don't worry, I will actually answer those. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jermaine, you still have any other questions?
Okay, my last question. So a lot of like couples out there, just started working, just started saving, and they might want to purchase a condo, but
Okay.
they might worry if one loses a job and there's no CPF contribution, it will eat into the savings. So this is for like, yeah. So what are your thoughts on this?
Okay. So I think we probably it's better for me to approach this question from a
Mm,
very general point of view.
yeah, sure.
As in, if you're buying a property, and I think, what if one loses a job, don't have a CPF contribution for the monthly payment? I think at the end of the day, I only have one advice for everyone. Buy something that's within your means.
Mm,
Don't buy something that you feel that you are not able to really sustain. So it really depends on if you're a risk taker or you're not a risk taker, right? If
yeah.
you're just if you don't know whether are you a risk taker or you're not, or you are the very conservative type, then buy something that is within your means. Don't overstretch. At the end of the
Mm,
day, neither do anyone or everyone wants to see anyone that suffers, if let's say you're not able to sustain the monthly installment. And that's why if you guys just join in the live, I actually shared this. Do not fully utilize your CPF funds to pay off all your loan, just because you want to reduce your monthly loan installments. And if you really do your math, actually, in fact, if you have this 50 or 60,000 or even $100,000 extra in your ordinary account, you reduce the loan by that 100,000. If you calculate your money installments, actually it didn't really reduce a lot. It's just only probably just reduced by $500 a month. That's all. Can you imagine if you reduce that monthly installments but just by three, four, or $500 a month, and it is not really very significant at all, then why I would rather you leave this money inside your CPF ordinary to earn interest, and also like what you mentioned in this question, to really, if the times are tight, you don't have a
mm,
job, you still have this money to help you to pay off the monthly installments. I think this is really something that I find that is worth considering, right? So buy something that's within your means.
mm,
Don't just go for it unless you're a risk taker. Unless you can tell me, gainer is fine. I'm going to buy this private property investment, right?
yeah.
Even if I'm jobless. I don't mind because my parents have a place for me to stay. I can just
Mm,
shift to my parents' place, rent out this to sustain and pay the money installments. If this
mm,
is something that is what you can, then okay, by all means, just proceed. But this is
mm.
not something that you can, then of course, then don't do that. Just buy something within your means.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so I think there are some questions.
Mm.
Maybe we'll just go through this.
Yeah,
If you don't
sure.
mind, Jermaine, just only a little bit
Yeah,
while.
sure.
Okay, so Belinda, if I pronounce your name correctly, you actually mentioned that how would you spot a good resale condo?
Feng Shui?
Okay, no lah. I mean, okay, so yeah, I don't think it's what you actually meant because what you meant is resale condo value will not appreciate much, right? Okay, so Belinda, I just want to answer this question. The honest truth is that there are resale condos that make money as well. At the end of the day, I give you an example. 5 6 months ago, I'm staying in Pongo, right? So I have a 4 room. I actually there's this 4 bedroom condo that I think during that time was 1.2 over million. Within 3 5 months, the price actually shoot up to 1.4, 200,000. That is a resale. So I think at the end of the day, it really depends on private market, private forces. Resale properties also will give you that, will increase in price as well. But then again, I think now this is a very good question. But then you must understand that why some people always buy new one because they always think that there's a very good first mover advantage. So that at least you buy cheap, whenever they want to sell, everyone will sell higher. That also depends on the property market. But the resale property will also increase, but it also drop because if there is a market change and the price drop, you have to understand if you buy a resale condo, those first time owners bought it much way cheaper. I give you an example. If a lot of resale owners they bought it at 800,000 and you buy at 1 million, will your property goes to 1.2? Yes, there's a chance. But if the market change to become that, let's say there's touch wood a crisis, you must understand that if you buy at 1 million and market changes go down, those first time owners who bought at 800,000, they can sell at 900,000, but you can't sell at 900,000 because you bought at 1 million. You understand where I'm coming from? So, but then to answer your question, resale properties also will also appreciate. It depends on how much, depends on whether supply and demand, stuff like that. So I think you have to weigh the balance. So it's not really like buy new launch, you definitely appreciate. I've seen new launches, people who bought it also didn't make any money. I've seen before. So it all depends. Okay. So hopefully, Belinda, I answer your question. If you're still around, probably just give us some lights, then at least I know that I actually answered that question. So we have this Mike. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly, Mike Kong. What's your opinion of holding on to a HDB flat and buy a private? I think this question is the same as what Jermaine actually asked about holding your HDB and buy a second property, paying the ABSD. I think probably I've already answered your question, right? Hopefully that answer. If let's say you feel that probably I didn't answer that, you can ask us again. Okay. Okay, so if let's say you guys don't have any more questions, I think this is really a very fruitful live session with Jermaine. Sorry, not Belinda, with Jermaine, right? So
Sure.
once
Yes,
again,
definitely.
yeah. So once again, Jermaine is actually she is actually a HDB upgrader. She has not done anything yet. Just to let you guys know, she's still staying in a HDB flat. She actually just saw my social media and we just have a chit chat, and then we just wanted to have a live session. I think this is a very meaningful session for everyone. She just want to share her concerns as someone that's staying in the HDB and just nice finish the MOP. What should she do, right? So I hope all these questions, the 5 questions, actually we actually answer these concerns lah.
Thank you,
Okay.
Gina. You have been
Hey, thank you so
providing very
much.
good advice.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
and also I need to add this also. Why Jermaine, you see a name. There's this mytwobaobeis. She loves to do her YouTube with her kids, stuff like that, and she actually uploads all these videos in her channel as well. So if you guys want to see, I recently saw her one. She say, "How do you make an egg stand?"
Have you
Right?
tried?
I did try, but I saw it and it seems very interesting. You put you
Damn
use the egg
cloth.
and you hit. Yeah, you
Yeah,
just hit the egg, then
yeah.
you try and the egg actually stand. Stuff like that. So she does some interesting videos, and especially with her kids as well. If you guys want to watch her my two bao base, if I pronounce it correctly, just feel
Yeah.
free go to her YouTube channel and check it out as well.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. I think maybe there's one last question.
Sure,
Suddenly, out of nowhere, it just popped
sure.
up. Is it right time for any buy for HDB for first timers? Jing Wei. Sorry, my Chinese not perfect. Okay, so is it a right time for any like buy? So at the end of the day, I just want to say one thing. It really depends on objectives. If you need a place for your own stay, please, by all means, just buy, because that is what your basic needs. You really need a place to stay. Unless you're buying for investment, then that's really a different thing. But I think you put HDB, so I think that is a place for your own stay. Just fulfill your basic, what you really need as to start off a family. Just buy first. Don't have to worry too much, because you are not going to buy and sell within the next 5 years. You're going to stay there for long. So just don't have to really bother about investment, right? I just think that that's more important. Unless you have extra funds, you want to buy for investment, then that is probably slightly different from your objective. Okay, Elson, I think the questions are really rolling in. Can
Yeah,
single buy
so
condo? Yes, of course, single, you can buy condo. You can buy a resale, you can buy a new one, you can buy, right? Of course, but I have to say this, if you buy a HDB, then probably it will be a little bit difficult for you to buy a condo. You have to wait out for the 5 years, then you have to pay the ABSD, stuff like that. So if you have now, don't have any property, you're asking about your first property, you want to buy a condo, yes. So long as your finances meet, you think you can actually afford it, and you feel that it's better to buy a condo than a HDB, then by all means, you can just proceed, right? Else, it really depends on you. Okay, so I think probably that's it for tonight. This live, the post is still there inside both Facebook and YouTube as well. If you guys have any questions, you can just post it there. I will look at your questions and I will answer those questions for you guys as well. Okay, so hopefully, I think this is a very fruitful session for everyone. Is there anything else for Jermaine? You want to
yeah,
ask
I
anything?
think you have enlightened me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I'll
Okay.
continue to ask you more questions if I need
Yeah.
to.
Yes. No worries. Okay.
Yeah.
So with that, thanks so much for watching this live. Okay. So I'll see you guys again. So thank you so much, Jermaine. Once
Thank
again,
you.
thanks everyone, and good night. Stay safe and bye bye.